they won't believe me. They wouldn't believe me if I didn't show receipts. I just want them to see
what
how long it's taking you to
Sorry, I'm a little
put on your
under the weather. I had Benadryl. I had another medicine.
I know you've been going through it.
Nasal spray. So
you've been going
forgive
through
me
it.
if I'm a little loopy right now.
Yeah, you've been going through it. But you're here, friend, and you're beautiful, and I'm loving that hair.
Thank you.
I like you when you're natural. You give me like this ultra like feminist, all natural, pro black excellence type of vibe. Like that's what I'm getting.
All of that.
When you came in, that's what I was feeling. So that's why I decided to complement it with my little
lovely dashiki.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah,
you look amazing.
Thank you. I feel really good right now. I feel very black eccentric.
Yes, as you should.
As I should.
Last couple of days of Black History Month.
Yeah, it is. Listen, guys, I gotta apologize.
Why?
The audio from last week, guys. Audio is the most. It's my Achilles. Like it freaking. Oh God, you have no idea how difficult sometimes it is to get this shit together.
It's a learning curve. We're learning.
It is.
You know, so we can't be too hard.
I know. Listen, this is my fucking journey, right? Yes. You guys are gonna be here with me riding, and
it happens. There's bumps along the road,
and we'll be able to look at this a couple months from now and be like, look at what you were complaining about. Look at where you are. So it's about the growth. It's about the journey. But I still wanted to apologize, say fuck you and thank you, and I'm sorry at the same time. So. It was such a good show, you know what I mean? And I just felt that I lost the essence of it because of the audio. But whatever. We're here. As you can hear, we're definitely improved. And we got some shit to talk about.
We do.
Episode 9. Did we say welcome? Guys, welcome to podcast Deez Nuts. I am your girl, Jodie. And to my right is...
Wendy.
What's going on?
How you doing?
We're back in the motherfucking building. Hey, back in the motherfucking building.
Say what?
We said we back in the motherfucking building.
Hey.
I hope that I hit the record button.
Is it recording?
I think so. It is. It's recording. We're good. Because I told you I have to do everything before. Anyway, so yeah, I'm here. So, episode 9.
Wow. Here we are.
Episode 9.
Yes, we're about to hit double digits soon.
To it. Like, we are.
Yes.
We're dedicated.
Week after week.
Yeah, and I'm having a good time.
Loving it.
Great feedback.
Yes.
We actually are gaining fans. Bitch, we got like fans.
Fans, y'all.
Yeah, that's
so we appreciate it. Thank you guys. We love you. We love you.
We do.
Yeah, episode 9. So episode 9. The title is Money versus Integrity.
Which way do you go?
What do you do for the coin?
Yeah.
Are we okay about how we're earning our money?
Yeah.
And what we're doing to take care of our family?
Right.
Can we sleep at night?
Can we sleep at night?
Do we care to sleep at night? Or is it just all about the dollars?
Is it all about the dollars? Are we out here
on
the
Cream
streets
Team?
selling our souls?
Yeah.
For the almighty dollar.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
I like this one.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really great subject. It's a very great topic.
Yeah.
And it came from, the recent controversy with Monique and Steve Harvey. But before we get into that, let's talk about last week. So last week, episode 8.
Oh my God.
Wasn't it not bombed?
We have to have him back.
We had an amazing guest, Gianfranco. Bitch. Did y'all hear that? Y'all heard them R's? Y'all heard
Listen,
that?
I'm a professional.
Wow.
I ain't new to this. I'm true to this. Feel me?
Wow.
But
so we had an amazing guest. It was he gave last week's title was the male perspective.
Yes, on cheating. Yes.
Yeah. So he came in. He
dropped some knowledge.
Dropped three
things,
reasons why he feels that males cheat.
And we agreed on all 3.
Yeah. They all made sense.
Complete sense.
I do think that, of course, if you ask another guy,
he might have a different perspective.
He may have a different perspective.
I think so, because I will say Gianfranco was definitely not the norm. And
right, in his ability to communicate and be upfront. So a lot of relationships suffer from a lack of communication or effective communication.
Okay, absolutely.
And it leads to a lot of people breaking up, whether it be a regular breakup, boyfriend-girlfriend relationship,
because I believe
divorce.
That's what he said one of his relationships ended.
Yeah.
It was because he over-communicated. And she didn't communicate enough.
Right.
And he was, it wasn't fulfilling for him anymore. So.
Right.
It was a great conversation.
It really was a great episode. If you missed it, tune in, SoundCloud, YouTube. You know, y'all, we everywhere. So tune in and listen to episode 8 as Gianfranco gives the male perspective.
Yeah, he's cute too, ladies, and he's single.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's Caribbean. Hispanic.
Oh, wait a minute. From Mexico.
He's not from Mexico.
No?
He's not from Mexico.
Dominicana.
Yes.
Yeah, Dominican Republic.
Yeah,
he's not from the Dominican Republic. He's from Boston. Okay. Sometimes he's a colonizer. And sometimes he represents the DR. You know, this guy's multifaceted.
Whatever is convenient for him. And you know what? Get your money, boo-boo.
Get your money. Do what you do.
Whatever you gotta
I love
do.
his 4 pillars, though.
Yes.
That stood out to me. I really love that. Not to necessarily say that that's the same order that I would use, but just the fact that he kind of thought out, he has his, priorities. He has his priorities straight. He has things.
And nothing is going to stray from that. And he's very clear and very specific.
Very clear, very specific.
He says it in upfront. And he got really emotional about that. He was like, it fucking pisses me off every time. Because when we get in a relationship, I tell him, this. It's in that order. Nothing comes before. And he says, and they tell me they cool. They say, I got you. I can ride with that. And the minute they get in a motherfucker, he was mad.
Yeah.
He was big mad.
Yeah.
He said, the minute they get in a motherfucking relationship, they want to start switching it up. He was mad. But I get it.
I get it because
and we asked for this in men. We asked for this in relationships, and then you have a nigga that does it for you, and
now you don't know what to do. So because you think that it's something that you can accept. However, if you're someone whose love language is quality time, and you can't spend quality time with the person that you're with, that could be very bothersome.
Absolutely.
Because now you're compromising yourself to make the relationship work. But sometimes it could be too much. Maybe it was too much for her.
Yeah.
Maybe she needs a lot more one-on-one time where it's just us together, no phones, no work, no nothing.
Yeah.
And it's just about, you and me. And I do think that balance is important.
Yeah.
While we have our priorities, our partner should also be a priority at some point.
They shouldn't feel that they have
sure
to be in competition.
That one-on-one time, So I get where he's coming from, but I also do believe that even within what he wants and the pillars or plan that he set out, there should be a little bit of flexibility to offer that balance, Yeah. And then, you have people who think like, maybe the girl's like, okay,
we'll see, because you're going to get this pussy and you're gonna
I know that's what you thought.
Yeah.
But I'm about to move this thing up 1.
Yeah.
And I move it up 1 again until I'm number 1. How about that?
Yeah.
So she probably thought she could change him.
Guess most not. People do.
A lot of people think that way.
Yeah.
So
they feel that they're the one that's going to be able to.
Yes.
I told you.
And
sometimes there are situations where, in fact, that they were able to, be the one to make them change.
Exactly.
And if you are lucky enough to be in that situation, then good for you. But you have to go into it with an expectation that people are going to be exactly what they tell you they're going to be.
Exactly what they tell you they
show
are.
You is
what they're going to be. Yes. They may make slight compromise.
Yeah.
For the relationship for you because they care about you. However,
can they do it over longevity?
Exactly. People are who they are, and I think it's really important that you identify those things in yourself.
Yeah.
But also, if you're going to continue a relationship with someone, just know that there's going to be things that you just don't like.
Yeah.
There's going to be things that you don't like about them. Yeah. And, that kind of is what it is. Yeah. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
Yeah.
And you just have to go into it knowing that, and learning to, again, make that compromise and communicate.
You know what? That is, let me tell you something. That's growth for you. And let me tell you why it's growth for you, because you are that chick to be like, you know what? The minute something was, I'm out. Fuck it. I don't want to talk. I'm done. You weren't really, you didn't fight as much.
No.
Now you're different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've definitely grown. I've seen that growth.
Yeah. Yes. I don't approach as aggressively, even though I am still aggressive, but not as aggressively as before. And I've also learned a lot more just to kind of walk away from things versus, having a full-on blowout when I can help it. Because for me personally, I just don't want to deal with the raw emotion at the time. So that's why I walk away. It's like even a post I put up the other day about basketball and that whole thing. Like, I put it up and then I walked away from it. Meaning I just went back to the post today, 3 days later, to see what people, because in that moment, I couldn't read what anyone would have to say to me because it'll be too emotional.
Right.
And in that moment, I'm too vulnerable. So I don't want to deal with it. So I walk away. So for me, and that's why I do that.
I'm always surprised when I see you open up in that way on Facebook, because you are a very private person. Like that's just not who you are. So when I see you do that, I get sad because I know that, you know, you're dealing with something.
Yeah. And I started doing it just because I'm hoping that it will help with the healing along the way, just to kind of document. It's a way of documenting the journey, everything that's happening or happens are happening as it happens. And just wanting to keep those moments, but at the same time, kind of getting the burden off of me a little bit. And just
a little bit of release. Just a little bit of a release.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and then
no,
moving on.
I mean, I've been in your life long enough to be able to identify your patterns, and I've definitely seen that more now than ever. But, you know, like I said, this is your process. This is your process. And one thing that I've learned in the little bit of therapy that I've taken is you have to learn to embrace your process.
Right.
Because the more you fight against it is the longer it's going to take to heal.
Right.
You know, so.
Right, exactly. So, you know, we kind of strayed off of episode 8 a little bit and talked a little bit about our feelings.
Yeah, we did. Oh,
but again, you guys go back, tune in to episode 8. So episode 9. Here we are talking about money versus integrity. And this topic was actually suggested to us. Don't forget that you can ask these nuts.
Yes.
You know, if you have a question, you want to know how to handle something shady, you want to drop some tea. You know?
Because I like you some tea.
We love tea.
Hello.
Okay? We sips it regularly.
Sip.
Okay? So if you have tea to drop, whatever the case, if you have a suggestion, a topic for the show, drop it in the comments or go on to our website.
Yes.
And fill in the
TVTakeover.live. The
TVTakeover.live.
That's it.
/ podcast.
But if they forget that part, I see what you did there. That was a good one. Listen, speaking of tea, something really quick before we jump into episode 9. Like I wanted to discuss this with you. I've been so busy, I haven't had a chance to talk to you. So, you know, we know the update with the Jussie Smollett thing, right? Like everything that's going on. Like the recent situation is that they casted him off the last 2 episodes of episode 5.
Yes, I heard about
season
that.
5. And he has to go back to court sometime in March. And what's crazy is the mugshot that he took is the same exact place that R. Kelly took his, because they saw like the same markings on the brick. Anyway, I have a theory. Right. I have a theory as to what could possibly be going on with Jussie. And it's a little bit different from how I felt before, because before I really do feel like, you know what, you can't use mental health as a scapegoat. You know, you're just a fucked up individual. But I really started to think about it. Over time, actors have said consistently that when they come from playing a role, after years and years of pretending to be this person, this lifestyle, they have to have a therapist to pull them out of that role. Like Denzel Washington has said it. I mean, a lot of top celebrities, A-list celebrities have said it. And when you think about how crazy the story is that he put together, like that is some made for TV. I am really a part of the Empire gang shit type family. That was crazy.
Yeah, well, that's definitely a different perspective, because I never heard of that where they needed to be pulled out of the role. I heard of people being typecasted, those sorts of things, but not that on you know, that mental health level. So I mean, that could be it. I also changed my mind about how I feel about it all the time. I really was riding with him from the beginning. Of course, once he got arrested, I'm like, But then I flip flop. Just every other day when something new comes out, my perspective changes. I actually want to talk about it on episode 11. Yeah. Once we get more information. So I don't want to talk about too much just yet, and we're going to compare it to another case of another person that
transgender
made up. No. Made up this is years and years ago. This is years back. Like Al Sharpton is involved in this.
Oh, wow.
So this happened some time ago where someone made up a complete story, fabricated everything. It became this big, just like very, very similar to Jussie's story. So
there was one 2 years ago, transgender, female to male transgender, and he was a part of the community, an advocate, got an award and everything, and he burned his house down, killed his cats, dogs, all his pets. Okay. It got like $50,000 in GoFundMe and of course insurance money, and they just found out like a couple months ago, around the same time Jussie got arrested. They just found out that, and he's going to trial now.
That is something else.
That is so he of course utilized something that was extremely heightened, and this we're as a society so sensitive to, and financially benefited from it.
So we're gonna going to be episode 11.
I'm excited to talk about that,
because
by that time
when I tell you there's
spilled.
so much tea, so much spillage, there's so many things that comes out almost on a daily basis.
Girl, sometimes with like every 16 hours you have to hit the refresh button, bitch. Honey. So spilling in. Wait a minute. Did you hear about R. Kelly and how some chick, some suburban lady in Chicago bailed this nigga out?
Listen,
bitch,
the women came through. The ladies came through for Kells. You understand me?
That lady is about to get the D of her motherfucking life.
Wait a minute.
I tell you,
she's single?
Listen, I give a fuck.
Was this a single I want to fuck R. Kelly type situation, or this is just a woman helping?
If it was me, bitch, and I just paid $100,000 to get your ass
so one lady paid the whole thing?
Yes.
I thought they was doing like a GoFundMe or something, or raising money. Okay.
The news thing said one suburban lady from Chicago.
Wow.
Paid $100,000. Let me tell you something. R. Kelly, you're going to lick the inside of my anus. Okay? Wow. There is no crevice of my body, motherfucker, that you will miss. I just paid $100K. Bitch, I'm holding you for 30 days and 30 nights.
Yes. Okay?
You're going to be my bitch for these 30 days and 30 nights.
And the other thing about that, too, is that the fact that he couldn't put up his own bail money.
It's happening right now.
That is pretty sad that he wasn't able to come up with $100,000. Someone at his level, someone who you would believe to have all these millions of dollars from all these hit records, albums, all of this.
And nobody came through for him. Nobody in his camp.
And no one came through for him.
Nobody in his camp. All these people that you've been supporting and taking care of for all of these years.
Yeah. Now, this may have worked out to his wife's benefit, his ex-wife's benefit, because one of the things I was told was that he had to catch up on child support as a result of this arrest. So she may, see some of her back child support as a result of this.
She needs to.
That would be a great thing for her and the children to have that lump sum of cash come in. That would be really, really great. So hopefully that works out for them. But the women were rooting for him. Women did help him out and came together. Well, one person came together and bailed him out.
Right now getting the D of her life. So shout out to that lady.
Listen, can only hope so.
R. Kelly, you's a nasty fucker, and you just disgust me, sir. You absolutely disgust me. At this point, sir, these are not just allegations. You're a nasty fucker, and you've been a nasty fucker, and you need to get what you deserve.
Yes.
These are babies, impressionable babies that you preyed upon, and they're going to be devastated and shook for the rest of their fucking lives because of your nasty ass. So, when we talk about sexual abuse, I'm actually going to be doing on My Life Royal All the Way Live. We're going to be having 5 ladies sitting, and they're going to be sharing their stories, talking about their journey, their healing, and of course, I gave my story on what episode was 6, whatever it was. So we're going to be having open discussion, talking about the beginnings, what we went through, and as well as our healing. It's going to be a great conversation, and I encourage everybody to tune in. If you go to our Facebook TV takeover, you guys will get information on when that's going to air, but it's going to be this month in March. So
that's going to be dope.
Sorry, I know we totally went off, but I just wanted to throw that out there because you know how important that is for me personally. So main discussion: money versus integrity. The cream.
Cash rules everything around me.
Everything around me.
Now, of course, Wu-Tang wasn't talking about
dollar
this
bill,
exactly.
Y'all.
However, does it come down to the dollar bill? So that's what we're going to talk about. So this started this whole discussion started with Steve Harvey and Monique. So Monique was on Steve's show promoting her comedy tour that she has going on. And on this show, he took the opportunity to have a big sister, little bro, big bro, little sister moment where he talked about the Monique's career, where she's been having basically this whole campaign about being blackballed in the industry for the last 8 years after doing Precious. So just wanted to give everyone some background. So we're kind of going to go backwards and then, come forward to what's going on with Steve Harvey and Monique, just so that you kind of know where this all began, so
which is important because I think a lot of people didn't do that, and that is why they came to the conclusions that they did.
Really taking the time to look things up, research, not forming an opinion on a clip or maybe just a little something you read. It's just really important just to go back as much as you can when the information is available to get the proper context and really understand what's going on and where someone is coming
someone's
from.
Character.
Especially
when you're assassinating someone's character.
You should do some research,
nice.
Just before you get into things. So, so the real question, can we be successful and maintain our integrity? Is that a thing? Do the two things go together? Do you have to sacrifice one for the other? So Monique, we're going to go back and talk about her. So Monique being blackballed in Hollywood, she said that this started after declining a request after her movie Precious. So Precious was a huge movie for her. She won an Oscar.
She did. Oscar or Academy Award, whichever one.
Academy Award. She definitely did her thing. Very memorable.
Yes.
Like I can vividly see her face. Think about some of the things that she said to her daughter, who was played by Gabby C.R.E.A.M. I'm going to say her name wrong. Sorry, Gabby. Phenomenal in the role, obviously, because she won an Academy Award as a result of it. Right. So she had a contractual.
She was only paid $50,000 for that role.
$50,000. However, she did also have a back end deal where she was earning some royalties. After everything was all said and done, she made $65,000.
But that movie did so well,
which is surprising because it did so well. Yeah. But this was something that she was doing to help out Lee Daniels. Yeah. He was really jumping off and wanting to shoot movies. So it's hard to get funding. Yeah. And she signed up for that. She was okay with that. She is not at all complaining about what she did. How much she was paid, because she was very much behind Lee Daniels and this being successful.
Not necessarily complaining about it. It comes up constantly. So it's as if she needs to remind people, let me just let you know that I did this for change. It's almost as if she's trying to diminish the Mr. Lee Daniels by saying that. If it's not a big deal, why keep talking about it? Why keep telling people how much money you make?
You know what? I had that same thought. Why does she always lead with getting only paid $50,000? If that's not your contention, if that's not what you're upset about, why bring it up? But we're going to get into all of that too. Yeah. Why bring it up? Great point. So she agreed to do the $50,000, and of course, when you do shoot a movie, there's promotion that comes with it, because of course it's really about the success of the movie, getting big numbers, getting people to come out, the whole nine. So she was asked to to go to international countries to promote the movie. After she says she has already fulfilled all of her obligations for Precious. When she was asked to do this international promo tour, she's like, no, you know what? I don't want to do this right now. I really want to spend some time with my family. This, for her, was important in the way that she explained it, because this is her third marriage. And she really wants things to work. So it's really important for her to have balance. And she has young children as well, So family time, having that balance in her career is important to her. So that's probably why she keeps talking about the $50,000, because she said, look, I was only paid $50,000 for this. Not nothing big. I did great. I did my all. Clearly she did. She was awarded for it. But look, I was just paid $50,000. Y'all, can I get a break? please. I'm done.
Right.
So they asked
making
her
the $50,000 relevant though in her decision, because
that could be why she talks about it leading into the no. The reason why she told them no. Look, I want to spend some time with my family right now. I'm not going to go and promote this.
Already did this for.
I've already
like
did this for
pennies.
Coins, for pence, for pennies. Now you want me to do more. And in most films, when they have a contract, there's usually clauses around them doing promotion, so they don't pay extra for promotion. So anyway, she said no. They came back, was like, well, you know what, we'll up room. I believe they're staying in Paris. They're like, we'll upgrade. We'll upgrade your room. You know, you'll have some extra days so that you can spend some time with your family. We'll make sure, you know, you're well accommodated. She's like, you know what? No, I don't want to do this. I really want to spend time with my family. So then they came back again and said, well, what is it? What can we do? And this is all according to her and her husband. So they came back and said, you know what? Well, what can we do to get her here? So her husband responded, who is also her manager. Yeah. He responded by saying, well, is there an offer being placed on the table here? And then they replied back by saying, no, we don't do that. We don't pay for promotion. He was like, oh, okay. No, I understood that, but I was just asking, you know, was there an offer? But if there isn't, no, that's fine. You know, again, no, you know, I want to stay. she's going to decline. She's going to stay home with her family. So they took that and said, Monique is now asking for additional dollars, additional money to promote the movie. And again, she had already done what she was supposed to do. Again, according to her, no one came to her about not fulfilling her contractual agreement. She did. No one has said otherwise that she hadn't. So at this point, she was like, look, I just said no because I didn't want to do it. And I wasn't asking to be paid. I do understand my contract, and I did everything that I needed to do in my contract. However, after now the third time, and I said I don't want to do it, and you're asking me, well, what can I do? I'm asking, is there an offer? Because maybe if you're offering me something, then I might reconsider.
Right.
To bring my kids out here, to bring my husband, well, he's going to probably go with her anyway, the husband. You know, come out here, get the extra days, great. But at least we're getting paid while we're out here doing it, right? I'm pretty sure that was where she was coming from when they made that suggestion, because, okay, clearly you really want me out here. I've already done everything I had to do. What, are you going to pay me or you know, what is this?
What
so if you're not, okay, fine. You're not paying. That's okay. That's cool. Still no. So that kind of is where things started to go, you know, where she had this snowball effect of people coming out saying that she's difficult, wanting, you know, extra money, things of that nature. And that's where things kind of spiraled for her. Lee Daniels also went on to say that she's asked for things and made demands, and that it didn't look good for her. It didn't look, you know, for whatever reason.
Do you think he's talking about that same situation?
It could have been that same situation, because that's one of the things that she said is like, you know, he's talking and he's saying these things and I'm asking for these demands. So what demands are you talking about? Be specific, be clear, because I want to be able to speak to it. She, outside of that situation, you know, people have said that she's been pretty uptight on set. You know, uptight on set, you know, a little demanding, aggressive. She said, you know, when I see things that are wrong, if I see people being treated unfairly, yes, I am going to speak up and I am going to say something. She mentioned that there was another cast member, I forget her role, on Precious, and Lee Daniels promised to pay her a certain amount of money. Like, this girl she said was doing all kind of things, like to the point where one scene, she had to move feces out of the road, and she did not have a broom or a basket to do it.
What? Oh, no, baby.
So this is to show how much work she was doing, according to Monique and her husband. Right? So he promised to pay her something. She did everything that she was supposed to do, and guess what?
He didn't pay her. Wow.
He called Monique and asked Monique for her opinion. Like, what do you think I should do? Because I got to pay, basically, the white people. I got to pay these other people. I gave them look. I got to get them the money first. Okay? Wow. These people need to get paid. I won't have enough to pay her and pay them. I got to pay them. Wow. So Monique said, look, if you made a promise, you should keep that promise. Even if you have to suffer on the back end, integrity. Even if you have to suffer back end, the right thing to do is to fulfill that promise. right? And she feels like because she didn't agree with him in that moment, that was one of the things that kind of set Lee Daniels off and made him upset because she didn't agree with how he handled the situation.
He expected to come and she'd be like, yeah, I mean, well, it is what it is. You got to pay the people. You know what I mean?
Right, I think exactly. That was a response. And that wasn't her stance.
Anticipating it. Now, and he didn't get that. He acted like a little bitch.
He sure did. Okay. And we do know of another situation where Lee owed somebody some money.
Yes.
That would be Dame Dash.
Yes.
Harlem.
Yes.
Itself, $2 million. Himself. $2 million. So Dame said, look, he gave him some money, towards a movie or something that he was doing. He helped funded him. He saw his vision, understood what he was doing. And Lee Daniels, according to Dame, promised him to give his money back.
Yeah.
Lee Daniels went on a show. Dame Dash did pull up on him because he's been chasing him down for this $2 million for a long time. You know, Lee talked about putting him in a movie, doing some other things to write off the debt, but those things never happened. So since you didn't do what you said you were going to do, get me in these movies, get me these spots, whatever the arrangement was, I want my money back.
Yeah.
I want my money back. Yeah. They've been chasing him down to the point where he had to pull up.
Yeah.
On Lee Daniels.
Yep.
He recorded the conversation and he was like, "Yo, I want my money."
He said,
"I want my money."
I want it.
So Lee now has an interview, and during this interview, sometime after him and Dame had this run, and he was like, I saw Dame. This is this black man who believed in me, and he understood where I was coming from, my movie, and he invested in me. It was an investment, He invested in the movie. The movie didn't do well.
Yeah. Yes, that's what he said.
And sometimes you lose money when you make an investment. But you know what?
It was never any conversation for me to pay him back.
Yeah, nothing like that. It was an investment. But you know what? Since it seems like he needs it, I said, let me go ahead and pay him that $2 million.
The petty.
Shade.
Yeah, because it looks like he really needs it. Because he really needs it right now.
He really needs it right now.
He really needs it right now. I was like, no, this liquor.
Is that not shady as fuck?
As fuck.
Shady as fuck. So I can understand where Monique is coming from with her upset in regards to Lee Daniels. I did this movie for you because I believed in you. I did it for 50 G's. Yeah. I said no to these people because, look, I am tired and I want to be with my family and I want my family to work. And also, you are known for screwing people over, clearly.
Right. So I'm not going to do anything else.
I'm not doing nothing else.
I don't, because I'm not feeling you. I'm not going to have you, fuck me over like that. Like, I did my good deed.
He even offered her roles in Richard Pryor's biopic, Empire. She's supposed to be Cookie, y'all.
Oh. That's right.
According to her.
Wow.
And she said she got receipts to back that thing up.
That she is supposed to be cooking?
Yes.
Do you think that it would have been...
Now, we're glad she didn't make it. Yeah. We like you, Monique. Yeah. We love you.
Oh, yeah.
But Taraji tore that character down. You understand?
Yeah.
She is doing amazingly well, even though the writing in this episode in this season isn't the best. Yeah. However, as an actress,
why it lost me. That's why it lost me.
Yeah.
And I never really liked Jussie. Not to bring him up again, but I didn't like him.
Yeah. He's
not believable.
I like Empire, but again, the writing in these last 2 seasons has been a bore. And just so outrageous and ridiculous. But I try to separate what the writers are doing and the directors are doing with the acting, and she's fulfilling her part.
She does well.
Within that role. So she's doing really, really well.
Yeah.
So we're kind of, I'm glad Monique didn't get it. However, our point is that, Lee being shady person he came back and was like, look, I didn't make these offers. She said, well, she had receipts to show and prove that, yes, there were discussions of her being in these two different roles, right? So Monique has been having a hard time earning money. Her husband, Sydney, her manager, he's been having a hard time with booking her shows because she is listed as this person who is very demanding, very difficult to work with. Yeah. So it's hard to hire her.
Yeah.
And who wants a headache? Right. Who wants to deal with someone that they know is going to be a headache? Yeah, you might be great, but I can't.
And then another thing is too, you don't want, even though oh my God, no matter how much people may be hating her right now, she's still Monique, and you can fill up a good sized venue with her.
Right.
They don't want to be labeled as the one that gave the blackballed, celebrity a chance, because then they risk being blackballed themselves, and nobody wants to risk that.
And especially if things do not pan out the way that they expect to be. Now it would be great. It would be amazing if they took the bet on her. They took the bet on her. She blew up. People came out, supported her, stood behind her. Like that would be so amazing. That would take and of course would catapult her career. Yeah. And as we talk about that, you know, Monique asked for a boycott on Netflix. Right. So, you know, she's been, of course, putting herself out there, trying to work, was in talks with Netflix for a special. Netflix offered her $500,000. Yep. She said, no, I'm worth a lot more than that. Yeah. And she said also with that deal, they didn't want her to do for 2 years any comedy. So this would be a drastic, it just doesn't make sense monetarily. If I did not do the special, I would have the ability to earn more money, much more money. So, you know, I would take it if I could also still work. Right. But to not work and only make $500,000 is not worth it for me. It's just not smart business. Yeah. So she talked about Amy Schumer and how Amy Schumer got 13 mil, and then, you know, the likes of Chris Rock, who was offered 20 mil. And people talked about them being able to put people, put bodies in the seats, put asses in the seat, as they say. Her, you know, they talked about that. And does Monique have that draw? Does she have the ability to bring in those people?
Do you think she does?
For me right now, as much as I have listened to Monique, am I necessarily going to line up for a Monique special? No. Right. I will now only because of all the drama, because I do at least want to see and also support her. But pre-drama, would I have done it? No.
I don't. So, and I was talking to Nancy about that, because realistically, you know, even when she was hot, like she never herself as an artist solo packed the room. She was always along with a lot of other artists, like the Queens of Comedy
maybe smaller tour. Venues, you know, not, you know, selling out Madison Square Garden, which she's
never done that. So that's why when they talk about, she talks about her receipts and packing her ass and numbers. Like, and this goes to, I'm not quite sure if we got the Steve Harvey conversation that was had. And, you know, what Steve Harvey, I don't want to jump ahead.
No, we'll talk about Steve Harvey.
But there's a part that's going to come where we're going to bring up Steve Harvey. And for me, that's where I connected the dots.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, she talked about her worth and not getting what she felt like she was worth. And then she said that, you know, Netflix is, she wants people to boycott Netflix for racial and gender bias, because she felt as a black woman she wasn't getting what she deserved. They called her a legend. Why am I not getting paid like a legend? Wanda Sykes came out and said that, you know, well, shoot, you got offered $500, they offered me $250,000. You know, so it's shocking. Yeah. And you've always heard in Hollywood where women have talked about equality in pay. You know, white women, you know, so if you can imagine a white woman talking about equality in pay, imagine the plight of black women, you know? So, you know, who really cares about us? And Wanda was made that offer before Monique. So Monique, you know, really felt like she had to take a stance, and I understand the need for the stance if this is how she felt. But also
who's Wanda Sykes? Who's Wanda Sykes though? I mean,
a comedian?
No, I know who she is, but you know, as far as, again, for me, it's about numbers, and that's why I can't wait till we get to the next part.
Wanda has a draw with white people, so she'll bring them out. She is she might be able to bring them out, but again, these are not necessarily comedians that we would connect with, that we listen to. So it's kind of hard.
No, listen,
I like them both.
I was going to say, I think that they're both hilarious. Yeah. But, you know, I've been around when they were, you know, just kind of getting up. We both were. And I don't ever remember them soloing out. Like, you never heard of you hear Eddie Murphy special, you know, you hear of a Kevin Hart special and those names like that, but you've never heard her name. So for me, it's like, I know that you're a legend because you've been around grinding for a long time. Right. But have you really been able to...
And that's what a lot of people have talked about. On the flip side, can you really bring people out? This is a business at the end of the day, and we have to make business decisions. And she asked them, well, how did you come up with Amy's numbers? Well, Amy sold out Madison Square Garden twice, because they were saying to her, hey, it's not about your resume. So then their response was, well, isn't that her resume? She did Madison Square Garden? Yes. And you've done other venues too, but selling $1 million of tickets and thousands of tickets is a big difference. Yeah. Not to say that you can't deliver, but she can deliver on a bigger scale. The proof is in the
pudding. The facts, she has receipts. She has facts to show that. I mean, to be able to say that you sold out the Madison Square Garden twice.
Right. And we can argue whether it's resume or whether it's ability to put people
it's all
in
schematics. At the end of the
semantics
day,
at this
men
point.
lie, women lie, numbers.
It's semantics. It's numbers. It just comes down to the number. 1 + 1 needs to equal 2 million. Okay. So they need to know that you can bring in the dollars. So I can understand as someone who wouldn't necessarily, if there's a Monique tour coming to Miami, Fort Lauderdale, am I going to buy the tickets? No. So that's why I feel this way. So this is my particular bias in this situation, in that I'm while I am a fan of hers and I think she's amazing, I'm not gonna go to a show. So that's me personally. Kudos
to you, Monique, for feeling so highly of yourself or thinking so highly of yourself, as you should. I think more women should walk around with that level of confidence, because you're all you have at the end of the day, and it starts with you. But ma'am.
But is it really a gender and race issue, or is it an individual situation where, you know what, as much as you're great, as much as you've been around for a very long time, which is why you're at legend status, not to say that's the only reason. Of course, she's done a lot of amazing things. She has. This is why you're at legend status. However, at this current point in time, 2018, we just don't see this. And I think, maybe, I don't know if it was their negotiating skills or what, but I don't see why they weren't able to negotiate her ability to perform. Now, apparently she said negotiations were cut very early, and she really didn't get to do a counter offer. At that point,
the money hasn't started to come in yet from
But not
the
only
movies.
that, but I think she offended them.
Of course.
When they brought up Amy Schumer. I don't think in that discussion to bring up another, I don't think that's how you negotiate. For me, I wouldn't bring up somebody else. That's not how I would do it.
Nothing to do with
and I'm not going to challenge
you.
I'm not going to now challenge you on why you pay them what you pay them. I'm talking about me. I'm in here to sell myself. And I'm in here to tell you why I am worth millions of dollars, not to focus on anyone else. So I really feel like they hurt themselves by bringing up Amy Schumer, and I feel like that's what caused negotiations to stop. Because for me, if this is where you're coming from, I'm offended. I'm offended. I don't even want to talk to you anymore. Matter of fact, bye.
Because now what you're doing is you're telling me that I have bad judgment. And nobody wants to be told that they have bad judgment.
I'm offended. I'm offended.
And that's why, again,
I know what I'm doing.
It's all about.
That's why I'm here.
It's about the approach and how
it's about the approach, and that's what Steve was talking about. And we're still not even going to talk about Steve yet, but there was something that was brought up in one of Monique's videos where she talked about conditioning and tradition. I just want to talk a little bit about the perception of this whole thing about gender and racial bias. So what she's been going on in this whole campaign, where she's talking about all kind of people, about Lee Daniels, Monique, she even talked about who does Medea?
Tyler Perry.
No, Tyler Perry is Medea. Talked about Tyler Perry and how they didn't support her publicly, how they felt like she was right for the no initially when promoting. They felt that she was, I believe they also felt that she was right about this Netflix situation and that she should have earned more. However, a lot of them didn't like how she went about it. Now, she feels like Black women have been conditioned to believe, look, we are not worth more. That's why we don't earn more. And I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to keep quiet, because this is how things have always been. Because no one is saying anything, because they want the job, they want the opportunity, they want to make sure that they don't burn any bridges. We are suffering. We are all suffering on the back end and not getting paid our just dues, not getting. And I don't necessarily disagree with that. I don't either. I agree with that. Actually, I agree with 100%. It as well. And I don't think she realizes that a large percentage of us are not arguing that fact. Not at all. Not at all. I mean, it's a very valid point. Another reason why she felt like she was being blackballed is because people perceived that she kind of shrugged off her Oscar win. It was an Oscar that she won. They shrugged off her. She shrugged it off. Basically, Monique is saying that the award that she's always dreamed of her entire life is earning an Image Award. That was the epitome for, like, that was the top of the top for her. when she won the Oscar, of course she was happy. Of course it was a big deal for her. But because she didn't do all the press runs, didn't do or act, you know, like how people like to shuck and jive. So I was talking to the DOD about this. Like, I hate how celebrities are worshipped. Yes, accolades are a great thing. Yes, if you do well, you know, people should talk about it. But it's the way people drool over celebrity. Oh my God, he's so amazing. And he's such this genius talent, and I can't. This level of narcissism.
If people don't know for longer than 3 days, if people don't know for longer than 24 hours what Kim Kardashian has done in her day, they would literally lose their fucking minds.
It's I cannot stand it. It is disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting.
It's some really bitch ass shit, to be quite honest with you.
I absolutely cannot stand it. So they felt people felt like she shrugged the Oscars because she didn't talk about it, praise it, you know, just as much as anyone else. You know, she didn't do all the shucking and jiving and all, you know, that whole nine. And because of that, people are like, so you're just not gonna talk about Oscars? and when she gave her Oscar speech, she didn't thank Lee Daniels in the speech. And like, so you're not gonna thank me?
People were in their feelings.
Yeah, so you know, because again, during these speeches is when people praise each other and you know, lick each other's balls and talk about how great everybody is, and you know, he was upset. Because this is she didn't mention it.
Definitely,
but she went up and she, look, whatever. Not whatever. She thanked people. You know, it wasn't the thing for her. It wasn't the thing for her. Not to say that she wasn't happy. Not to say that she wasn't elated. You know, not to say that she didn't want to be there. Of course, it's a big deal to win an Academy Award. But for her, it wasn't. It didn't equate to an image award, because that's the thing that she was looking forward to that whole time. So
people were in their feelings. Egos were crushed.
Right. Yeah. Egos were crushed. So again, that again added to all of the stigma behind Monique and who she is as an individual. So getting into, you know, the main topic, that was kind of the whole backstory about what has been going on with Monique. She, if you just want a little bit more tea, she also had this issue with Oprah Winfrey.
Oh my God.
Monique, I just learned this, was molested by her brothers as a kid.
Yes.
And on the Oprah show, Oprah had wanted to talk to her brother. Her brother came to Oprah.
The brother reached out to Oprah.
Yeah, the brother reached out.
After she went on the show, after Monique was on the show and she spoke openly about her situation, the brother then reached out to Oprah and told Oprah, listen, I want to come on your show and tell my story. And Oprah said, okay. And Oprah was respectful because she reached out to Monique. She says, listen, I just want to let you know that your brother did reach out to me. He is going to be on your show. And your mother as well reached out, and they are going to be on the show as well. And Monique says she watched the show, and she said her father, when she saw him, rest in peace because he's now dead, he looked like he was in a drunken stupor, and you know, the mom just looked crazy, and the brother, and she said that she felt disrespected. And I'm like, bitch, why? She felt disrespect
because of her mother being there. She knew the brother was going to be there, but she didn't know that her mom was going to be there, and her mother had a really bad relationship.
Take that to your mother. That has nothing to do with
Oprah.
For
me, yes, absolutely. I feel where you're going from, because Monique, in her tour of talking about being blackballed, also went off on Oprah about that publicly.
Yeah.
You have her number. You guys talk to each other on the phone. So why wasn't that a phone conversation and just left right there?
So, okay, if I understand correctly, how that actually went down is Oprah was on the set interviewing or doing interviews and answering questions to a journalist about her new movie called Wrinkle in Time. And one of the interviewers actually said to her, he said, so let me ask you something, with all of this going on, like, how do you handle negative energy? Like, how do you handle all this negative energy that comes towards you? And he says, you know, for example, right now, the big thing is Monique and, you know, what she's saying. And Oprah said, and I quote, she says, listen, I'm above all of that. She says, you cannot feed into negative energy. That's not what you do. You have to elevate. You have to take that to another, go to another vibration with that. She says, I don't pay that any attention. She didn't specifically say that Monique was negative. She just utilized the same word that the journalist gave her, and she fed her response from that. No, in response to me dealing with negativity, because that was one of your questions. Right. I generally, I don't match it. I don't match it. I elevate above it. You know what I mean? And I think that Monique got in her feelings because she's extra sensitive about everything going on. And she responded the way she responded. She was out of line. And I think she took it to, she escalated a situation that did not need to be escalated.
Absolutely.
And she took it to a whole nother level.
And that's what Steve was talking about with her. So Monique went on the Steve Harvey show. Was it Steve Harvey's or Steve's show? On Steve's show. And they had this conversation. And the basis of Steve's argument, Monique is, of course, talking about, you know, how people have treated her. She doesn't feel like people came at her the right way. She also says that she felt like she didn't get support from her friends like Lee Daniels, Oprah, Steve Harvey, and Tyler Perry. She didn't get support from these people publicly because they knew she was right. They said that she was right. However, did not stand behind her. So what she's been doing, going around telling these people, Oprah, Lee, and Tyler, to suck her dick.
Yes.
If she had one,
she did a show
during her comedy show.
On one of her, her comedy shows, and
she held on to was that, look, this is my comedy. I can do what I want.
Yeah. No,
you
bitch.
told them to suck your dick.
Yeah. Yeah.
As you mentioned,
now,
she had that rant after.
You didn't tell me to suck your dick. You didn't tell Wendy to suck your dick. Bitch, you told Oprah Winfrey to suck your dick.
Tyler Perry?
You told Tyler Perry to suck your dick.
Yeah.
And you told Lee Daniels to suck your dick. Hold on. And Lionsgate to suck your dick, bitch.
Right.
Those are some big names, ho.
Right.
Now, just like Steve Harvey said, you have to understand that with the truth, if that's your truth, because that's how you feel, comes consequences. And you have to be prepared.
And it's okay
to handle them.
It's okay to speak your truth, but the contention. The contention that they had is how she was going about it. So I want to play a snippet of.
Steve Harvey said you can't match. If you want to match love with love, it should feel like love.
It should sound like love. Because one of the things that she said is, no, you know, I'm not being basically rude, or I'm not being nasty. I'm coming from a place of love. One of the things that Monique does, which is, I think she tries to be very manipulative. She's really trying to, I feel like she's trying to contain herself. No, darling, no, brother.
I hate that.
No, sis. You know what I love about my brother and my sister.
Yes.
Ooh, look, you mad. You big man, and we can tell, because that right there is a cover up.
It is.
Stop. It's a cover up.
You see it.
I can't. I see straight through it, because I'm just like, it's annoying.
It's very condescending.
Stop
You're
it.
being condescending.
Stop it. We know who you really are, because you have shown your ass plenty of times. As much as we love you, you have been showing your ass, and there's a way to do things, right?
Yes.
And we've talked, and break it down for regular folks. You know, we talk about not burning bridges. For example, when you leave a job, you unless you just don't give a fuck because you know you're about to be a millionaire, or you're about to go start your own company, and you're not looking back, but you try. You most people talk about not burning bridges, right? Because you never know when you're going to run into these people again, who these people know. Can they stop your money? Probably. You know, if there's a referral or some sort of job verification needed, and you need to go back to my last employer, what are they going to say about me? So you're not. What are they going to say about me?
So the hierarchy and the intricacies of how corporate America works, it's the same in the entertainment industry as well. Like, it is. You have to be mindful. Of. So HR is basically the people.
It's basically Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, and Lee Daniels like in this situation. They're HR. They're human resources. You know, so you want to be very careful in how you respond. While if something is wrong, assert yourself. And I am one, anybody who knows me, I will assert myself. And if I do feel like something is wrong, I will make it very clear that something is wrong. However, there's a way to go about these things. There's a way to do it. And you do need to, make sure that you maintain certain levels of professionalism, decorum, and control. Control.
But also too, that level of respect needs to be earned over time as well. So you need to just, when you go into any environment as a new person, you need to understand that every single thing that you do is going to be telling the story of you. Let me repeat myself. Every single little thing that you do is going to be telling a story of you, and you have to be cognizant of that from the gate. Set a precedence. Let people know who they are fucking with. I promise you, I promise you, it's going to be the best thing you can do in any type of work environment, because people will not come to you any kind of way because they know already what time of day it is.
They know
you're gonna come for them.
Yes,
you
will come. You will speak your truth. However, you will do it diplomatically. You will do it with poise.
Right.
You understand, but also ensuring that they understand the point. Know that I am not to be played around with. I'm not to be fooled with. I am to be respected. These are the things that are important to me. You did this, you said this, and I have concerns with what was said and how this was handled, and this is why.
Right.
How are we going to rectify this or make sure that this doesn't happen again in the future?
Right.
You know, there's a way to go about doing things. So let's listen to a small clip of what transpired between Steve and Monique, and this is specifically what most people, well, just about everybody was talking about, and what caused a lot of the uproar and rage against Steve Harvey. And I definitely recommend that people go back to, it's on YouTube. Look for the Steve TV show and you will find the clip. And I really do recommend that everyone looks at the segment in its entirety. Look at the entire conversation and understand the context in which they were speaking. But for the sake of time, we are only going to play a small portion of it. So I'm just gonna.
The QuickBooks Self-Employed app gives contractors and freelancers the power of
we don't
shout out to QuickBooks,
right?
Highlight podcast. These nuts.
Wasn't trying to.
What makes them comfortable, we then lose. When you called me with the morning show on the phone, I said to you, Steve, my family is suffering behind this. And y'all know I did nothing wrong. Y'all know my husband did nothing wrong. But none of y'all in real time, was strong enough to go publicly and say, we can't throw our sister under the bus.
Because, Mo, listen to me. We fighting two wars here.
What war?
There's two wars. It's what your issue is, and it's what the perception of the issue is, and the narrative has changed.
See, I'm hearing what you're saying, baby, and I agree with it when the narrative changes. But if all of y'all said, this is the only issue I have with it, baby.
Bypassed it.
When all of y'all said privately, to include Oprah, all of y'all said privately, I've done nothing wrong.
When you tell the truth, you have to deal with the repercussions of the truth. We black out here. We can't come out here and do it any kind of way we want to. Listen to me. Your husband can't be the Sydney that he really is out here.
Let me tell you
that flexing, we got to flex a different way. We out here in a game. This the money game. This ain't the black man's game. This ain't the white man's game. This is the money game. We in the money game. And you cannot sacrifice yourself. The best thing you can do for poor people is not be one of them. You cannot.
We're in the money game, but let me tell you what the game is before the money game. Before the money game, it's called the integrity game. And we've lost the integrity worrying about the money.
But Mo,
wait a minute.
If I crumble, my children crumble, my grandchildren crumble. I cannot, for the sake of my integrity, stand up here and let everybody that's counting on me crumble so I can make a statement. There are ways to win the war in a different way. We got more right after this.
I mean,
was that not true?
Was
that not truth? So
I feel like I just came from church.
The whole point of giving the backstory about Monique is to understand where she's coming from and understand the anger. And I get it. I get why she's upset. I get why she's angry. However, to Steve's point, there's a way of how you go about doing things. And I didn't think, when I listened to it the first time around, I actually had to go back to comments to figure out what people were upset about, because I was like, wait a minute, what did he say that was so upsetting to people? So when I went back and looked at the comments, it was I can't, the last part where he talked about integrity. I have my family to feed, and I can't let my integrity basically stand in the way of me making this money, because it's a money game. I mean, but is it not? Again, let's make this, let's bring it down to ordinary people, because it's so funny how people get to sit back and judge people as if their lives are so perfect and they do everything right and they make every decision right. They speak the right way every time. They choose the right words every time. They use the right punctuation every time. Proper capitalization. I mean, you people who comment are so fucking perfect. So perfect. Okay, so let's talk about this, because if we're being real, Have a lot of people not been at jobs where they didn't agree with what their bosses were doing?
Yeah.
You stayed, right?
Absolutely.
Did you see some things that transpired at work that you wouldn't do?
Right. Or you didn't agree with?
Right. But you stayed, didn't you?
Yep. How many times
How many
times have you been in a management meeting and they feed you some bullshit line and they tell you that what you cannot do is to tell your employees the truth. You have to tell them that it's this. And what the fuck do? You grab your notepad, you grab your pen, and you grab whatever little other bag that you had, and you go back out there to your employees and you feed the motherfuckers the lies that they told you to feed them. We've all fucking done it.
We've all done it. We've all been. So there is a little bit of compromise to integrity when you don't own your own business.
Yeah.
When you don't make the rules.
Yeah.
You understand? There is a bit of compromise there. And where Steve was coming from, if you listen to the full context, he wasn't talking about not being a person of integrity
right.
to make money.
Right.
What he was really talking about was how she was handling.
Right.
You know, he's like, I'm not going to sacrifice my integrity and money. So I'm not going to let, my integrity get in the way of me making this money because I need to take care of my family and my children. Right. And I understand that.
Right. And I also think that she was being a little bit hypocritical as well and unrealistic with her expectations when she was so inconsistent with her behaviors. Like,
right.
And this is what to one of Steve Harvey's point where he says, sister, you changed the narrative. Like when you out here telling people that are highly respected to suck your dick.
Yeah.
Like, ma'am, you've completely changed the game. So now, when you start talking about maybe issues that probably are a genuine concern in the community, nobody can take you seriously because of your behaviors.
Because you're out here telling people to suck your dick.
You are here telling people as a grown-ass woman that's so pro-cissin, bro, and love you.
And I love you. That don't sound like love to me. But then you want to try to fold it and wrap it into comedy. Come on now, that was hurt and pain, boo.
No, man.
You've been talking about this for a long time.
Too soon.
You have lost control of this situation.
Yeah.
And a lot of it has to do 100% with how you're handling it. And even after that interaction with Steve, she went and put up a bunch of clips about Steve being a house nigga.
Wow.
Shucking and jiving for the people.
I did hear that.
You are hurt, boo.
Yeah.
And understandably so.
Right.
However, this is not how you do it.
No.
I've left companies where I wanted to say, go fuck your mama. You understand?
Who are you telling?
But I can't do that because I don't know where I'm going to see these people again.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yep.
So you back out of situations and you walk away. That's where Steve is coming from. Yeah. It's not about sacrificing the coin. And again, if we are all being very real with ourselves, we do it to an extent.
We do.
A lot of us, of course, are working to the point where when we do face those compromising situations, that we've positioned ourselves to be able to say, you know what?
Deuces.
Bye.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Deuces and move on.
Yeah.
And quietly, thank you, but no.
Yeah. No, I'm
because
not doing
you have positioned yourself for that no.
Right.
And that's why it's important to earn while you can earn, save the way that you need to save, position yourself.
Look at you. Look at you.
What? Oh,
having conversations about saving.
Girl, yes.
Yeah, no.
This important.
Comes with time.
Okay.
It comes with time.
Position yourself so that you can walk away from these situations. Yeah. Keep your head held high. Keep your integrity intact. And move away because if you're telling people to suck your dick, integrity, what?
It's just,
do
it
you
doesn't
even
go
understand?
hand in hand.
I mean, come on. You can't tell people to suck your dick and then talk about integrity at the same time. No. You sound crazy now.
She's been disrespectful.
You've been so on so many shows disrespecting these people, talking. Stop.
And I think that's why she's slowly losing her fan base as well, was because people are starting to see that or notice just how fake she kind of is. Like she's not real. You know what I'm saying? Like back in the day when she used to play this character that she plays now that we all see, it was a little bit more believable because there weren't many people like her. But now that a lot of us or more of us are what we call woke, we can see through that. And we realize that, no, baby, bitch, you're not genuine. Like you're, as soon as these cameras turn on, like you're acting. This is an act because you're not this person. You're inconsistencies in your behaviors dictate that. Like, there's no way, no matter how much you may be in your feelings about a situation, that you're gonna go on fucking camera and tell Oprah Winfrey to suck your dick, dog.
Right.
Like, everybody knows that is career suicide, my nigga. Why didn't you?
Right.
Why didn't you?
Right.
That was career suicide. And that's what Steve Harvey was saying. He was like, listen, I'm not saying that what you said was wrong. He even owned the fact that, you know what, you're right. I probably shouldn't have said it on my radio as your brother. I should have called you and had a conversation. I'll take that. And he owned that as a man. And I gave him super props for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He said, but at the end of the day,
you were wrong.
You're wrong.
Another thing
you can't go about handling this situation this way and expect people to take you seriously. He says, now that's why I have you on the show, because I am hoping that maybe we can come to head with this, and I'm hoping that I can save your career, and I respected him for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing that made people upset was his tone and his demeanor and cutting her off. He was passionate, because what he was seeing is that she was not getting it. Yeah. You know, that was his way of trying to shake, like, yo, like, this is serious. Are you hearing me? Yeah. Open up. Like,
what job are you going to go and get?
Listen to what I'm saying, what I'm trying to say. It was frustration and it was passion. It wasn't him trying to disrespect a woman. Yeah. I mean, I don't think that's where he was coming from. I didn't get that. No. I didn't get that from that conversation. That was love. That was true friendship. That was a real moment. Like, look, friend, like, come
hear me
on.
out. He was like, hear me out.
Listen, you are wrong.
Tripping right now. You're tripping
bugging
right now. The industry needs us. You're extremely talented. I hear what you're saying, but you need to chill the fuck out and calm the fuck down. Like, you tripping, my nigga. I hear you. It was too much. But let's be realistic. You know, Netflix offering you $500,000. Yeah, you are a legend, and you know you've been around the game for a long time. But sweetheart, you were out sitting on a bench for like 5+ years.
And then even with that Netflix situation and the boycott, one of the things that he said was like, "Look, like, there was no call to action. Yeah, there was no direction. What are we doing? Are we not subscribing? Are we canceling our subscriptions? Are we picketing outside of Netflix? What are we doing here?"
Which led us to believe that you just did this shit off of a whim. It was there was no.
Let's boycott Netflix.
Let's just boycott.
Because Hans,
are we going to go out and pick it? I mean, what are we?
Oh no, stop.
Canceling our subscription for what? Tell us why. Why? Because you're in your feelings because they didn't give you enough money. And another thing he said was, you know, you forget that this is rich folk problems.
Right.
You are here complaining about millions. You got niggas out here, you know, thinking, oh, you good, $500,000, you good. So we can't really.
But to her credit, though, she did say, no, it's not about that. What it's really about are, you know, the disparages in how much people are paid.
Absolutely.
And that is a really great point. But I don't think she's fighting the cause the right way. No. This is not how you fight the cause. Mm-hmm. And if, again, your stance is about women, equal pay, then make it about women and equal pay.
And be respectful.
To
women.
Right. Stop. Right.
Yes. Be respectful to women. You telling another female after you're this feminist that you're talking about, you know, women's rights and getting equal pay. You're going to go and you're going to say to a woman that has worked her ass off. Oprah Winfrey has earned every single one of those billions of dollars that she has made. Right. You're going to tell this woman to suck your dick?
And ain't nobody telling you to kiss Oprah Winfrey's ass. Okay. But to be disrespectful. Not saying that, not to shuck and jive. Nobody's telling you to do that. But you don't have to be disrespectful.
You lucky you ain't get punched in the throat.
You don't have to be disrespectful. You don't even have to talk about her. I don't even understand if it is about racial and gender bias and equal pay. Why are we discussing these other people in the context of this conversation? Because it doesn't go together.
Because the source that is fueling these emotions, they're not being real with themselves and admitting why they are truly mad.
And that's why you're not getting anywhere. That's why you keep hitting this brick wall. You're not getting anywhere.
You're not being honest.
It's not working because you are not being honest. Not only are you not being honest in really truly understanding what's going on, the situation at hand, you're not honest with yourself. You're not even honest in your delivery.
Right. So I know you said we're going to talk about Jussie Smollett, but I have to bring this one point up when I think about how they're saying that he did this scandal because he wanted to ask for more money. And the point that you just stated, Fox stated that, listen, that was never communicated. Like, there was opportunity for those conversations to be had. There were people that I think had already negotiated, and no one from his camp came forward and said, listen, this is a concern.
Right.
So that's another thing too. It's like you're so afraid. Well, in addition to my first theory, which is that he's a mental case because he's stuck in his role. If that's not the case, another thing could very well be that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you just never know. So, in speaking of money versus, integrity, if there is a lot on the line, will people compromise and say, you know what, fuck this. I know this is not right. I'm going to do it. Yeah. To make these coins. And yeah, absolutely. There's definitely a lot of people, a lot of people family. Who are out there who will feel like they need to do what they need to do
for their family
to make this money. And if you think about, the lyrics of the song Cream Casuals, everything around me, cream, they talked about getting the money, what they need to do to get their money. You know what I mean? There's a level of, when you think about crime and integrity, those two things kind of go hand in hand, and they did what they felt like they needed to do to get that coin. So does it happen? Absolutely. Yeah, are there people out there who are going to do it? Yes. Am I one of those people? No. I will say no. I will. Of course, it has to be very, something that's egregious. Again, have I been in situations where I've worked and I was like, you know what, I don't quite like this, but I'm going to stick around until I position myself? Why are you making that face?
Because I'm waiting for my turn for me to speak my truth.
What?
And I don't know if you're going to like it. No, go ahead. I'm listening.
Go ahead.
So you would absolutely, you would stand by and you would not.
Yeah, because I feel like there's always another way. Okay. I do feel like there's always another way. Okay. If this door, if I can't get through this door the way that I need to get through this door, then it's not for me to walk down. It's not my path, and that's how I feel. So yeah, I won't compromise myself for $1, not a penny, not a coin. I won't, because I feel like there's other ways to get the money, and I should be able to maintain my integrity and whatever I establish my brand to be, while trying to make money. So yeah, I won't do anything for money.
So I think for me, first of all, I agree with a lot of what you said, and I have the same theory where I believe in the universe, I believe in God, and I know that I am exactly where I'm supposed to be because of just how everything is flowing for me. So I know that it's important that I constantly put positivity into the universe, or deposit positive things into the universe, because that's the only way that I can in turn get positivity in my life.
Right.
Now, with that being said, I think that one of the qualities that is God given with me is survival. And if I'm ever in a situation where my life depended on something, or my son's life depended on something, yes, I don't think there's anything that I wouldn't do. If I'm going to be completely honest, because in that moment of just fear and shock and uncertainty, you will make decisions. So with that being said, is
you're
there
talking about survival, like life and death?
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? I don't know. You know what? I'm just going to say, if it's life and death, I don't know. That's going to be my answer. I don't know. But I'm just talking about everyday situations, climbing, trying to get down your career path. Would I make that sacrifice? No, I wouldn't.
But you know what? But here's the thing with you, and you've never had to seek advancement in a company. They sought you out. And that's because you do exactly what you say you do, and you just live your life, and you believe in a higher power, and you know that whatever's meant for you is going to come to me. And it comes to you.
I've literally never have applied for a position, promotion ever. Yeah. I've always just have been given them. Right. It's always been, a tap on the shoulder. I remember even one I did have to apply for, because technically you had to fill out the application. I was like, I can't buy. I don't think I'm ready right now. Like, they literally came back with, look, we just reopened it. Okay.
Yeah.
Apply.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Get into it.
Yeah. So yeah, because I do feel, if I work hard, if I do the right thing, and I'm really focused and true to what I'm doing, and really love what I'm doing, it's gonna show. Yeah. It's gonna show anyway. Right. And people and it'll gravitate towards me. Right. So that's why I do feel firmly that I don't need to do anything. I'm not gonna be one of those people who's in the hallway licking the crack of the boss's ass to get a pro. It's not who I am. It's not who I'm not gonna spark fake conversation with you. I'm not gonna spark fake conversation with you because I think it's going to advance my career. No. If I don't want to talk to you, I'm not going to talk to you. I don't give a fuck who you are. Right. I just don't care. Right. I don't care enough because again, I always feel like my work will show for itself, and it has. Right. It has. Big companies, large companies, small companies. Right. you know, my worth and value has been seen again, because if you are great at what you do, you are great, and there's no denying it. Mm-hmm. I don't believe, I am just not that person. Yeah. It's just not.
Well, because you know what it is, you've laid a solid foundation that you rely heavily upon, and you have lived in situations that have forced you to see the outcome of these decisions that you've made. So it's right now, it's just a cycle for you, and you've mastered that aspect and area of your life. Yeah, that's not something that's easy. A lot of people can't say that, you know, that they've done that, but you know,
yeah, you know, which
it's it's a great quality to have, and you have shown that consistency and dedication and loyalty to those qualities. It definitely pays off. So.
Right, absolutely. So that's why I can stand by the statement that definitely integrity is more.
But if I'm going to be completely honest, in the moment, you know, I don't know. I do believe in God. I pray, but I know that when you are extremely emotional or you're faced with something, especially if your kids are involved, my God, you're immediately just going to be thinking, what do I have to do? And then you have to pull yourself together and be like, okay, God, I know you never will place upon me more than I can bear. I know this is going to be fine. It's going to happen exactly how it needs to happen, and whatever happens, I can handle it. But you don't think that first. You don't think that first, you know, and I think that's what makes it a little bit difficult sometimes to know what you're going to do. But if I was to sit here with a logical mind and say what I want to do,
I have to feel good about it. I have to feel good. Which is why, like last episode when we were talking about the whole perfume thing, we won't mention the brand, and then you guys were like, well, why didn't you make up a brand? Why didn't you make up another brand? I'm like, I'm not even good at lying, because I just instinctively, it's just not who I am. I'm not good at it. I have to be true to who I am.
You own your shit. And
even if I feel like, for example, like I could have came up on somebody, I'm like, no, I'll correct it. Like if you think that I owe you a lesser amount, I'm like, no, this is what I really owe you. So I'm good. And it almost sounds stupid, like, because you know, hey, you could have came up, but I wouldn't feel right about it. I
wouldn't feel right about it. It's going to come back and it's going to get you 10 times worse, because you know how that works.
And I live by that. I stand by that. And I've been blessed because of that. Yeah. You know, it doesn't feel good to me. Yeah. You know, so again, look, I'm not doing whatever for the coin. Yeah. I'm just not.
This is a good conversation.
It was a really great conversation.
I was actually surprised. I think you and I had talked about this briefly. I was actually surprised that you took the stance that you took. Because, you know, one thing that you are very much, like I said, you're a feminist, you're pro-black, and, you know, you sometimes no matter what, you know, you're for the black people, right or wrong. It's about black power. And you know, I love you for that. So I really thought that you were going to be rooting for her and standing behind her, as crazy as she sounded. So for you to be on the same page, I was surprised by that.
Yeah, because, you know, right is right and wrong is wrong. Yeah. You know, again, I understand why she's upset, and she has a right to be upset. Yeah. However, this is work. Right. At the end of the day. This is work.
I'll work it.
And we do understand, and which is the point that Steve was trying to make. We do act differently. Yeah. We do put on at work. We do.
It doesn't change because you're a celebrity.
It doesn't change because you're a celebrity. You are at work.
Structure.
It's work.
Yeah. Same work.
You understand? Structure. So there is a little compromise that goes into it, especially when you don't own your own business. Right. If you're not doing this, if you're independent, you can do what the fuck you want to do.
Right.
In her world,
her traveling and doing those interviews and promotion of the show is kind of like those times where you find yourself staying after work a little bit longer. Right. Even though you're salaried and you know there's no overtime for what you're doing, but you know what? Let me stay my ass here these extra 2 hours.
Because I want to be great. I want to do great work. I want to be think successful. About it. The residuals that she could have made from that movie could have been better. Yeah. If she went out and promote more, she probably would have made more than $65,000.
And she would have also been showcasing herself, giving her an opportunity to get, because her acting was amazing. Right. And people would have started to focus and pay attention to it more had she been on the road representing her brand. Yeah. You know, but she missed out on that opportunity. So I think it was very dumb.
I don't think that I would have necessarily made that decision. Nah. You know, if I wanted to spend time with my family, I told them, look, I want to spend time with my family. And they made arrangements for me to be able to spend time with my family by giving me some extra days, upgrading my room so I could bring everybody along. Right. Why not?
But you know, somebody did say to her, one of the people that interviewed her said to her that we heard that, you know, there are a couple of different reasons why people don't want to work with you. Mm-hmm. Of course, you being difficult is one of them. But one of the things that came up that they feel as though is a reason you're not more successful is because of your husband and that you guys are too close.
People
and
talk
this
about
situation,
him a lot.
They do. They bring up his name a lot. This situation for me was a prime example of that. I said, because as a manager, you're supposed to think business.
Yes,
that's your job.
Yes,
his job as your manager and your husband, it's conflict of interest. It cannot work if he's not able to have those difficult conversations. Because as her manager, he should have says, "Babe, we're gonna pack up these little motherfucking kids, and we're gonna go to this hotel. We're gonna make a vacation of this. You're gonna do what you got to do during the day, and at nighttime we're gonna have dinner. We're gonna actually stay an additional week because they were going overseas. It was like
Paris, I believe.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So they could have made a vacation of it. As a good manager, that is a conversation that he should have had, and he didn't. So I agree. Sometimes, bringing on family, even though it might have looked good or felt good at the moment, is not best for your business.
She could have had she could have had both.
Yeah,
she could have had both.
She could have
bringing additional exposure to the film.
Yep.
And also at the same time spend time, with her family. But again, hey, if she didn't see it that way, fine. You don't have to agree. You could have stayed home, and held on to, but be ready to handle what comes with it.
Absolutely.
Be ready to handle what comes with the no. Find a way to deal with it in a respectful manner. And like Steve said, love will sound like love. Respect will sound like respect. He didn't say that, but respect will sound like respect. You understand? And there's a way to go about doing things. So this was a really great conversation.
It was a dope conversation.
I loved the perspective. And again, everyone to me was right. Steve was right. Monique had some really valid points. However, to me, the underlying issue is her and her attitude. And her husband.
She was dead wrong in her approach, and she needs to reconsider her business structure. And reevaluate whether or not it's a good business decision for her to
keep
have
her husband around as her manager. Absolutely,
he's still your husband, honey. He's still your man. He can still help you. He can still
fly with you and dick you down whenever you need to.
He doesn't have to change his position in your life.
He can still whisper in your ear. However, he should not be the person in the forefront. He should not be the person talking, because if he was the one that brought up Amy Schumer in that negotiation,
he fucked you up with that one.
That's not a good thing.
And then what happens when I don't know.
Is
your
that
kids
a common
are sick?
Thing? Who knows?
What happens when your kids are sick and you guys both want to be there for the kid? Who's gonna fucking run the business?
Right.
Like, come on.
Whatever. But still, I'm glad. Thank you guys for for recommending this topic, because it was really, really great. And
we did some research.
I got to learn a lot more about Monique and where she was coming from, and really trying to understand her side of things. And I get it. But also at the same time, I think one of the biggest things that I learned from this is that it's important to go back and do your due diligence, do your research before you formulate an opinion on something.
When you are assassinating somebody's character.
Especially when you're assassinating somebody's character, it's important to go back and look and also be, strong enough to carry your own opinion.
Right.
Be able to speak to your opinion and not feel like you have to go with the masses. You don't have to agree with everyone. It's okay to be objective. It's okay to have a different opinion. You don't have to go with the wave. You really don't. Absolutely. So this was great. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Yay.
Episode 9.
Episode 9 officially in the books. Don't forget to check us out
every single Thursday.
8:30 p.m.
We are on Facebook. We are on YouTube. We are on SoundCloud, iTunes.
Google
Listen,
Podcasts.
guys, all you got to do is just Google the TV Takeover, and you'll be able to keep in touch with what we're doing. But follow us on Instagram. I am at the TV Takeover 876. And
I am at Because Wendy Said, and that's BCZ as in zebra, Wendy, Wendy said, SAID.
You better get it, bitch. Thank you guys for tuning in and
Thank
watching
you guys.
Podcast These Nuts. Bye.